I cry because no one understands me, not because I am weak, not because I want attention, but because my heart feels heavy, and I don't know where to put that weight. I am just a child. My height is small. My hands are soft. My voice trembles when I speak. People look at me and think, what problems can a child have? They don't know that pain does not measure age. It only looks for a heart, and my heart feels everything. When I cry, they say, stop crying, be strong. Boys don't cry. Why are you so sensitive? But no one asks, why are you crying? So I learned something very early. My tears are not welcome. That day, I stopped crying loudly. I learned to cry quietly. Inside, at home, voices are loud, not always angry, but always busy. Everyone has problems, bills, work, life. No one has time for a small child's feelings. When I try to talk, they say, later, not now, go play. But where do I play? When my heart is tired, sometimes I sit in the corner, with my knees pulled to my chest. I watch the world move. Without me, I see laughter, I hear jokes, I feel invisible. I wonder, if I disappear, will anyone notice? That thought scares me, but it also hurts. How easily it comes. At school, I am quiet. Teachers like quiet children. They say we are well behaved, but quiet doesn't mean okay. I sit on my bench, staring at the wall, pretending to listen. Inside, my thoughts scream. Other children laugh, push, play. I smile when they look at me, a small, careful smile. Because if I don't smile, they will ask questions, and I don't know how to answer. Once, I tried. I said to a friend, I feel sad. They laughed and said, you're weird. That word stayed with me. Weird. So I stopped sharing. When the teacher scolds me, even for a small mistake, my eyes burn. But I don't cry. Not there. I swallow the pain, like always. Because crying in front of people only makes things worse. They don't comfort you. They judge you. At night, when the lights are off, and the house sleeps, I finally breathe. This is my time. I hide under the blanket, press my face into the pillow, and let the tears come. I don't know how many nights I've cried myself to sleep. I don't count anymore. My tears soak the pillow, but my pain stays dry, untouched, unheard. I whisper questions to the darkness. Am I bad? Why don't they understand me? Why do I feel so alone? The darkness doesn't answer, but at least it listens. Sometimes I wish someone would notice my silence. Silence is not peace. Silence is a scream that learned it won't be answered. I don't want much. I don't want expensive toys. I don't want big promises. I just want someone to look at me and say, I see you, I hear you. It's okay to feel, but those words never come. So I cry. I cry because no one understands me. I cry because I am tired of explaining. I cry because my heart feels too big for my small body, and every tear whispers the same thing. I stopped expecting people to understand me. Expectations hurt more than loneliness, so I lowered them again and again until nothing was left. Now, when someone asks, are you okay? I answer quickly, yes, even when I am breaking, because explaining feels useless. When you already know, no one is really listening. Something strange happens. When a child cries too much, they don't cry less. They just cry inside. I became good at hiding pain. Too good. My face learned control. My voice learned calm. My heart learned silence. And slowly, that silence turned heavy. I started feeling angry. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind that sits in your chest and burns slowly. I didn't know why I was angry. I just knew I was. Small things hurt more now. A joke, a look, a harsh word. They stayed with me longer than they should. Sometimes I wanted to scream, not at anyone, just scream. But I didn't. I smiled instead. Smiles became my armor. Silence became my weapon against more hurt. But armor gets heavy when you never take it off. I began to feel different from other children. They laughed easily. They trusted easily. They cried and forgot. I cried and remembered. Every word ever said to me lived inside my head, like echoes that never stopped. I started believing maybe something was wrong with me. Why do I feel so much? Why do small things break me? Why can't I be normal? When adults don't explain, children create their own answers. And mine was cruel. I am the problem. That thought changed everything. When something went wrong, I blamed myself. When people were rude, I thought I deserved it. When someone ignored me, I thought I was boring. This is how a child learns to disappear while still being alive. At home, I stayed quiet, too quiet. No complaints, no demands, no needs. Adults like easy children. They don't see that easy children are often hurting the most. Sometimes I imagined running away, not far, just somewhere quiet, where no one expects anything from me. I imagined a place where I don't have to explain my feelings, because they are already understood. That place felt safer than my own room. I stopped asking for help. Asking and not receiving hurts more than not asking at all. So I handled everything alone, like a grown-up. Even though I wasn't one, children should learn alphabets, not emotional survival. At school, teachers said, "You're very mature for your age." They smiled. I didn't, because maturity born from pain is not a gift, it is a scar. I learned how to read people, their moods, their tones, their silences. I adjusted myself to make others comfortable. No one adjusted for me. Sometimes I wondered what it would feel like to be held and told nothing. No advice, no lessons, just presence. But those moments only existed in my imagination. The worst part was not the pain, it was the loneliness that came with it. Being surrounded by people and still feeling unseen teaches you a dangerous lesson. You're alone, even when you're not. And so, my crying changed. It wasn't loud anymore. It wasn't even tears sometimes. It was a tight chest, a heavy breath, a tired heart. Pain learned new shapes. I cry because no one understands me. But now, I also cry because I don't know how to let them. I've been silent for so long that my voice feels foreign. And deep inside, a fear whispers, what if I finally speak, and still no one listens? There comes a moment in every quiet child's life when silence stops protecting and starts suffocating. I reached that moment. I didn't know the date. I didn't know the time. I just knew something inside me was done. Done waiting. Done hoping. Done pretending. That day looked normal to everyone else. The sun rose. People talked. Life moved forward. But inside me, something finally broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. It broke the way a child's heart breaks. Slowly. Deeply. Completely. I woke up feeling heavy. Heavier than usual. My body moved, but my soul stayed behind. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. My eyes looked older, tired, empty. I smiled at my reflection, out of habit, but even my smile felt tired. At school, noises felt louder, laughter felt sharper, voices felt heavier. Everything touched me too deeply. When someone bumped into me, I apologized. When someone raised their voice, I flinched. When someone ignored me, my chest hurt. I was carrying years in a child's body. Then it happened. Someone said something small, something they probably forgot 5 minutes later, but it landed on all the wounds I never healed. And suddenly, I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened. My hands shook. my vision blurred. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to disappear, but I didn't. I sat there, silent, breaking. That's the thing about quiet children. When they finally reach their limit, no one notices, because they don't make noise. They just fade. I stopped raising my hand, stopped answering questions, stopped reacting. Teachers thought I was distracted. Friends thought I was moody. No one thought I was drowning. At home, I went straight to my room. I closed the door, sat on the floor, pulled my knees to my chest, and for the first time, I didn't try to stop the tears. They came hard, fast, uncontrolled. Years of pain poured out, all at once. I cried for the child who was never listened to. I cried for the child who learned to smile instead of speak. I cried for the child who thought love had to be earned. I cried for myself. My chest hurt so badly. I thought something was wrong with my body, but it wasn't my body. It was my heart, finally releasing everything it had been holding alone. Between sobs, a thought came, soft but terrifying. What if this pain never leaves? I was scared, not of dying, but of living like this forever. That's when something unexpected happened. A memory surfaced, not a painful one, a small one. Someone once told me, very quietly, "You matter, even when you're quiet." I didn't believe it then, but sitting there, broken, those words felt like a hand reaching out in the dark. I realized something important. No one ever taught me how to speak about my pain. They only taught me how to hide it. But hiding pain doesn't make it go away. It only teaches it where to live. For the first time, I asked myself a different question. Not, why doesn't anyone understand me? But, what would it take for me to understand myself? That question changed everything. I started noticing my feelings. Instead of judging them, I stopped calling myself weak for crying. I stopped apologizing for being sensitive. I stopped believing I was too much. I understood something adults forget. Children don't need fixing. They need safety. They need to know their feelings are allowed. I didn't magically heal. Pain doesn't disappear like that. But something shifted. The pain no longer owned me. The next time I felt overwhelmed, I didn't smile. I said, "I'm not okay." My voice shook, but it was real. Not everyone understood. Some ignored it. Some brushed it off. But one person listened. Just one. And sometimes, one is enough to remind a child they are not invisible. I learned that being understood doesn't mean everyone agrees with you. It means someone stays. Slowly, I stopped shrinking myself. I spoke when something hurt. I rested when I was tired. I cried when I needed to. And the world didn't end. I realized something powerful. I was never broken. I was unheard. Now, when I cry, I don't hate myself for it. I see it as my heart saying, "Please take care of me." And I listen to the child reading this, or the adult who once was that child. Your tears were never a weakness. Your silence was never peace. Your feelings were never wrong. You cried because no one understood you. But that doesn't mean you were unworthy of understanding. Some children grow up fast because no one slowed down for them. Some children become quiet because no one listened. Some children smile because they learned their pain made others uncomfortable. If you were that child, I want you to hear this. You deserved better. You still do. And if you're still crying today, even silently, it doesn't mean you are weak. It means your heart is still alive. I don't cry anymore because no one understands me. I cry because I finally understand myself. And that saved me.